under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for service people serving both here and abroad. Okay, everybody, thank you. Before that,
And the minutes, we're requesting that the minutes be waived for approval in the next meeting. You agree to it, that's good. Statement of accounts reflects oh yes, I'm sorry, you were right. Roll call for attendance. Thank you. Mr. Brooks.
yes.
Mr. Calabro. Mr. Flansbaum. Mr. Katz. Mr. Schuster.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Stafford Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you, everybody. Details.
On the list as of January 1st, so that we did receive our land lease payment for the 1 acre as part of the airport flight path. It has to still be posted. I don't post it until it's been deposited in the bank, but it has been received. And we do have T-Hangar lease payments that are also being prepared for banking. They'll show up on the next meeting statement of accounts.
We're fully caught up on the road program, because we paid the last payment for last year's road program. Just need a motion to accept.
Move to accept. Second. All in favor? Nays? None? All right, we accept the statement of accounts. The list.
I know you're not used to seeing this one. I guess not.
It's okay. Fine.
I just wanted to make sure. The bill list is shown in two parts. One is drawn from Lakewood Bank, and the other is drawn from Investors Bank, which was the last payment for the 2017 road resurfacing project. The last payment was $289,865.27. We had already committed in July for $350,000, so this is $12,000 below the $350,000 was our obligation here. The bill list for statutory expenses is $5,920.41. Items number 3563 through 3569.
Motion to pay the bills if they're found to be correct.
Second.
Have a second on that? Second. All right,
Roll
roll
call.
call on that?
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes, except for item 3565, I will abstain from.
Thank you. Budget to actual is for your information only. It is for the 2018 adopted budget, and the expenditures that would be posted toward that. So that basically there's no vote being requested for the budget to actual, it is just for your information.
Before that interruption, where are we?
Comments from the public.
Okay, comments from the public.
My name is Shloime Klein. I see there's a site review committee comments. Now, I was here last time and I asked who's on the committee. And I was told that Justin is the chairman of that committee and 2 other members. When Justin was not here and I asked what was going on with these reviews, nobody knew what to answer. I assume this time it's different. But I have a problem with Justin being on the chairman. A legal question, a legal problem. He is on the planning board. And on the planning board, members of the planning board should not hear applications ex parte. The fact is, sitting on this committee, he is the one that is deciding, yes sidewalks, no sidewalks, yes setbacks, no setbacks. Then the review comes for the planning board, and they are looking at it as this committee, the LIC, said that it is a good thing, a bad thing, when it's one of their members, that he is the only one that knows what's going on. He is sitting at that committee. I think it's ex parte. If you have a subcommittee dealing with these stuff, you should take a member that is not on the planning board. It's a legal question. I'm not looking to put you guys on the spot. Look into it. Usually when I bring up these type of points, when the attorneys review it or they speak to each other, they might change course. So I'm asking for the esteemed Mr. Attorney, whatever your name is, look into this, speak to the planning board chairman, attorney, and find out if this is a problem or not. Now, as far as
You're asking for clarification as to what his status is.
I'm just saying is look into it. Look into it.
Is there any conflict?
Yeah.
No problem.
Next, about sidewalks. I'm assuming is one of these 2 applications is going to ask for a waiver of sidewalks. I'm asking again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Please, please, don't give waivers of sidewalks. The argument that we don't want people walking over there, in my opinion, is not acceptable. You should, if it's a safety issue, you should put it in. I spoke to the county told me none of the roads should be given a waiver of sidewalks in their opinion. It's just a municipal issue, they're not getting involved. So if the county understands different and everybody understands that sidewalks is important, and when it comes in a report from your guys that sidewalks should be waived, people look at it, that might be a thing that they should look at, but it's wrong.
Through the chair. If I may, can I respond to that?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Neither of these applications came with any request for a waiver from sidewalks. And as we've answered numerous times, the design of the industrial park was specifically to not include sidewalks because of the heavy truck traffic that's there. We want to discourage pedestrian traffic. Every design of every site is meant for the majority, if not all of its activity, to happen off the street. So we don't want to have anybody on the street. Whenever we have a situation where people are on the street or we have excessive parking on the street, it spooks the drivers. What happens when the truck drivers are spooked, they complain to the companies, and eventually the companies move. That's not the dynamic we want to have in our park. We are experiencing fantastic commercial growth and industrial growth in the park. The demand is very high, higher than we've seen in a very, very long time. And doing anything to discourage companies from siting in the parks in order to encourage pedestrian traffic where it doesn't belong is not the position of this board. You may be able to make the argument to someone else, to the township committee or to someone, and if they should choose to do that, I'm sure it'll come back here for discussion. But this is the long-standing policy of the Industrial Commission, and there's nothing in these applications that specifically addressed anything to do with sidewalks.
Thank you for responding. I just want to give my point of view in this. By me, I don't look at it as you want to gain taxpayer money, you want to keep the commercial there, and that's the reason why you want to discourage pedestrian. But by me, one human life is more important than the whole industrial park. That's my opinion, and I assume yours is also that way.
Thank you for saying that.
But this is the way I'm looking at it with my glasses.
It's true, but I don't want to close down highways because somebody might decide to cross a highway. That's not an appropriate way for us to operate. You know, things happen, people do bad things. It doesn't mean that we should operate government and discourage businesses from having a good business environment because somebody might do something.
Legally,
if we encourage them,
I don't want to make it into argument because this is public comment.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying is legally somebody could walk on the shoulder now because there's no sidewalks. By law now, if anybody wants to walk in any place in the industrial park, they're not required to walk on the right of way where's the grass. They could walk on the road. So it's technically taking this person that's driving on a bicycle or walking off the road and putting them on a sidewalk. Because if there is a sidewalk, they're legally not, and legally they're not allowed to walk on the road. But we'll go back and forth and we won't argue, this is not a debate. So let me just finish my last thought and let you guys go. There was a meeting between the schools. They were trying to shut down, they were trying to figure out a way how to shut me down. It was on Sunday, 2:30, all the schools came together, they sent out an email, and I got a hold of this information. And one of the discussions, was a lot of discussions about how they how they could, as far as of the schools, shut down the First Amendment, because they were angry that they're being required now to put in sidewalks. On New Hampshire we had that on different things, on Route 9 a school was made put in sidewalks. They're very angry about it. One of the arguments that they made is that because of First Amendment activists, schools are not able to build in an industrial commission. And let's just put myself on the record is, whoever doesn't want schools building on an industrial commission is this Lakewood Industrial Commission. It's not First Amendment. If it would have been up to me, I would have told all the schools, go to the industrial park, dismantle the whole industrial park, dismantle this whole Lakewood Industrial Commission, and we will be a win-win situation. Why? I would get my sidewalks, and they would have gotten their schools. So I'm just saying is that it's not me that is any shape of form promoting schools not being an industrial park. I have no opinion in that, and if it is an opinion, it's the opposite. It's this industrial commission that is pushing for that. I'm just putting that on the record. Thank you.
No comment and no comment required. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? No? Okay, just an observer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I guess we can close the comments to the public.
Thank you.
Turn over to our
Okay.
executive director.
The majority of what I have is for closed, but I'll give you a few quick items. One is we've submitted information to the county through our Public Works Department for this year's road program. So we're hoping to get some response back from them about which roads within the park we can help finance resurfacing. Last year's was a very successful program. One of the things that we learned was that when they opened certain of these roads, there wasn't much road there. So when they put in whatever number of inches of road they were putting in, we had some incongruities, so they had to do some touch-ups. So this year, we're gonna be a little smarter about it and really assess the status of the roads better in the planning stage. So we're hoping to hear more about that soon.
A side note to that is we should anticipate the traffic issues going with these
Yes,
roads.
absolutely. I think, last year we were able to, working with the county, adjust from when they had their original planned deployment, which was still during school time and so on. So there was a lot of additional traffic that was experienced, and they paused the project and then did it during downtime. I think the county has become pretty adept at doing that in general. Most projects in Lakewood that they do, they try to schedule it during whenever the intersections are or whatever, so that they can avoid.
Which streets are you looking at?
So we're looking at some of Oak Street and some more Swarthmore, the streets that are heavily traveled and taking, significant beating. Some of these places, there's water pipes and things that run through them that we need to look at, just in terms of assessing how enormous the project
The
may be.
reason why I'm asking is because last year the DOT put out a grant through, I think it was the freight grant,
Yes, from the DPA, I think.
which dealt with communities that have large vehicle traffic exceeding 5%
Right.
wearing on the roadways.
Yeah.
So the township, in our office, we submitted a proposal for a grant, where we submitted an application end of last year. And we're waiting to hear back from the DOT as to whether or not we receive any money. But we were looking at streets in the
Including some
industrial,
of that,
in the
right.
industrial park. So I would just,
But we put a lot, we submitted a bunch of areas to the county, and it's almost certainly more than what we can afford to do. So what we'll do is we'll coordinate with you before we finalize on the set, so that if we do have some grant opportunity from DOT, we'll try and mix the two together so we can do it right.
Good.
But last year we got like something like a 4-to-1, bang for your buck, in terms of the money that we deployed. I think we got like $1.4 million worth of paving for the 338,000 that costing us.
And as a side note, I think the new light is working now on
Yes.
Cedar Ridge.
On Cedar Bridge and the one on New Hampshire and America Avenue
Yes.
should be working as well. So that's good. Those are very high traffic areas, of course. The T hangers, we're continuing to move forward. We're actually doing our advertising now that spring is coming. So we're going to advertise again directly to all owners of aircraft in the area, plus, through some trade magazines and so on, and see where that gets us.
How many are still vacant?
Oh,
You have 15, you have
no, there's
16.
more. I think there's 2 more leases in. We're about at 20, so there's about 10 vacant now.
Okay.
Oh, and Little, I've been in touch with them. They have not, because of the weather that we've been having, they've not been able to get out and do their site survey work yet. But I think they have that projected for next week, based on the email I got last week. So, we'll see. I wanted to just comment for a moment on the first reading that the township did on the conveyance of the airport to the LIC. Because it kind of, the first reading comes without comment or questions and so on. And by the second reading, it's public hearing and adoption. And so the airport consists of about 150 some acres total, and about 90 some of that is the actual airport. The other 60 or so is the wooded area along Airport Road that has been nothing, and for the past 12 years or so has been under the approved airport layout plan, which is the master plan for the airport that the FAA signs off on, designated for land release in some form or another. The market's about as high as it's been ever, and the demand is high. We have, as you know, we have a few people coming forward to build factories and so on. We've got a number of overtures for large-scale development that people want to do of commercial or industrial space in that tract. So it's a really good time for us to move forward with that. And as the town has always done, when properties in the zone come into the town's possession, they get transferred to the Industrial Commission for us to engage with potential buyers and developers to see through that process so that we get good commercial ratables that end up in that zone. That's the purpose of the transfer of the airport to the Industrial Commission, and also facilitates what, this board effectively managing the activities that go on at the airport. So that's what it's about. Safe zone, no update on that, although there, we should keep it on there so that we can plan for how to advocate for more of the park to be protected in that manner. I will tell you that getting out and meeting with some of the large companies that have been in the park for 20, 30 years, many of them are growing and are, the ones that do shift work are adding a third shift, or, the ones, met with one yesterday, they're on a nice parcel of land and they need more. There's no more to be had where they are, but they need more. Their business is growing, they're meeting certain demands. There's some just fascinating companies in the park, and we're going to profile some of them in a coming newsletter so that people can understand more about the kind of things that are going on that are exciting, that are really positive on the commercial side, and how important it is to protect that. And it does represent almost 20% of the local tax levy, taxes generated. Everything else I have is in closed session.
20%.
Okay,
From the industrial park, and on the other 20%.
Chairman, I have an update on the White Elephant litigation, but that'll be in closed session.
okay. All right.
Committee reports.
Committee reports, correspondence, Anita?
Nothing that I know.
All right. Site review, do you have anything on Justin?
In your package, there are 2 letters that we released to the Lakewood Planning Board for the 2 site plans that were reviewed by the Site Review Committee, the House Tickle and Stickle Manufacturing, at 1995 Redford Boulevard. They're proposing a 16,000 square foot warehouse. What they are providers, that's
Packaging.
Stickles, packaging,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of
No,
our long-
shipping.
Says Tate,
long-term
they've been there a very long
Yeah.
time.
Very nice people, I've known them since they were.
And JG Enterprises has one building now on Swarthmore and is proposing to build an additional warehouse in the back of the property.
They have the room for it, I guess.
That's the oh yeah, they've got plenty of room, but the exotics, you know, they do vaping things and.
Okay. Do you want to comment on our sign committee, what we're doing?
What happened?
Yes, so we did receive, and we'll actually have it as part of our contract discussion. So we'll have more of an update there, but we are moving forward with that. We'll have a vote in open session if we are ready to move forward.
Okay. Let's see, I guess we can move on to public relations.
Yeah, just before you do, I would just
All right.
remind the members of the contract review committee that we need to get another session together because we have a contract that complex contract that we met on the one time and we need to meet on again and then engage the attorney to help us with the final form. Okay,
All right.
you're up.
Public relations.
I wanted to make you aware that Steve Ryman, Bob Kirshner, and I are part of, here's more for everybody, are part of the Economic Development Committee of the Monmouth Ocean Development Council. And we attend monthly meetings. I'm giving you this agenda from the last meeting so you can see the scope of it. It covers updates from Monmouth County, Ocean County. Steve and I give a report, and sometimes Bob also has additional information. Fort Monmouth, the Joint Base, Workforce Development, all the utilities, the colleges are represented at this meeting. So I want you to know that we are going there and we are promoting Lakewood and telling them about all the wonderful things that are happening in our town. Does everybody have an agenda so you can see what that's about? Okay, also, tonight, the Strand Theater, one of the gems of our town, besides the airport and the Blue Cross Stadium, is holding a fundraiser. If you eat at Whole Hands tonight, they will, and bring this flyer with you, we'll send this around too, please, and give it to your friends. They will donate a portion of that money to the Strand Theater. So please try to go to that. Let's see, I wrote a couple of articles. One was for the Department of Public Works. They are having extra trash pickup days for Pesach cleanup, and there's an article that's coming out on that. The extra day, pardon me, in Zone 1 will be Wednesday the 28th, and Zone 2 is Thursday the 29th. And normal
What
trash
about Zone
pickup.
3?
They don't have the traffic and the congestion, so they are doing extra in those two
We just have
zones.
to be more
And they're
efficient.
also, I copy edited a flyer that they're gonna be sending out to all the
Okay, good.
residents about what they can put out and when the pickups are gonna be in their particular area. I also wrote an article, and this can't be released yet, but tomorrow. The township officials, the Lakewood Police Department, Lakewood First Aid, Lakewood Civilian Safety Watch, Lakewood Fire Department, Lakewood Emergency Medical Services, Hatzola, Havarim, and Bircha Cholim of Lakewood have gotten together and they've started a safety campaign. And the first leg of that is going to be issuing safety cards. The first ones will be with the pedestrian safety cards about how to walk safely at night and during the day, because vehicles don't always see the pedestrians, and sometimes they're distracted on their headsets or whatever. So an article will be going out about that. I attended the Ladison Rosebud Gala. The Ladison is in our industrial park, and they have a very active group there. So I went to that. It was 250 people. It was a beautiful affair. And the last thing is that April 25th is Staff Appreciation Day. The Lakewood Chamber is holding an event for staff appreciation at the Grand on Route 70. So if you have staff that you want to take to that event, it would also benefit the chamber.
Is it the Bove Grand?
What's the
No,
Grand?
the Grand
Where's the Grand?
is, what's that,
The
the
old Best Western,
Versailles?
isn't it?
The Old Best Western?
Oh,
Oh,
over
that's
there
what's
in
called
the,
the Grand.
okay,
Yeah.
it's called the Grand, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, and, do you have any questions? If there's anybody you want me to promote, or you know of a company, like Steve and Anita and I were talking earlier, a company in the industrial park that would like to have some PR, I'd be happy to do that. And if you want me to advertise for the, space available for the hangars, I can do that, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
okay,
Whatever
cool.
will help the town and this committee.
Thank you.
Just a point of information, I just received a phone book, which I think is the local list, and included in the package
Right.
was a reflective film.
Yes.
Wow.
They must be.
I didn't get mine.
Yeah, they're gonna send them out all
You
over
gotta get on
town.
the voices.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
big
mine.
safety campaign going on. We need it, we
Which
need
I
it.
think is a very positive
Yeah,
thing.
and more to come. The safety cards are just the beginning. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the Strand is holding its gala on the 25th, and among the honorees,
You? Oh, wow.
Wow.
March 25th or
Should do
April
the short
25th?
April
April.
25th.
Okay.
So if you can
So we have
attend that,
time.
I'd be honored.
Okay.
All right. Any business, anything?
New business, close session.
He said he's not
New
going.
business?
Who's not going?
Bob.
I need a motion for close session.
Motion to go into closed session.
Move it.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye, copy.
Closed session.
May I read the resolution into the minutes, whereas Section 7B of the Senator Byron M. Bear Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting under circumstances, and whereas this industrial commission of the Township of Lakewood is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Industrial Commission of the Township of Lakewood in the County of Ocean as follows. Public shall be excluded from discussion of private and confidential matters involving any of the non-exclusions listed in Section 7B of said law, and is hereinafter specified. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: contract negotiations and litigation. It is indicated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public only when the reasons for discussing and acting on them in closed session no longer exists. Said determination be made by further resolution adopted by the industrial commission. And this resolution shall take effect immediately. The time is 12:08 p.m.
Good job.
Still going back into open? It's the comments
the
from
end.
commissioners?
Yeah.
So I'm missing that, huh?
You can come back. It's still recording now.
What? Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything interesting comments?
See you at the end.
Usually not. Oh my, you never know.
Okay, so how long, Ms. Probably will be disclosed? You don't know.
There's a few items, it might take 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you.